Hey everyone, welcome back to Adventures with Edna. I'm Chris, and today was the day of the big car show that we were planning on entering with Operation Grow Spartanburg, Project Horsepower. Unfortunately, the weather today is supposed to rain pretty heavily, so they rescheduled it for the rain date, which is next Saturday. Which in a way works out because it gives us an extra week to work on Edna and try to get things as good looking as possible before the car show. On top of that, Chance is on vacation this week with his mom, so he wasn't going to be able to go to the car show, but now that it's scheduled for next weekend, he is going to get to go, so he's really excited about that. So today, we're back in hardware mode. We're going to be getting back to work on Edna. We're finally putting the headliner back in. We're going to fix a couple other things. Just to update you guys, since the breakdown the other day, Edna's been running great. So it was that coil. We got the new one in there. I've burned almost a whole tank of gas, and she's been running great ever since. Now, before I put the headliner back in, something that I wanted to do is, if you drive probably a lot of old cars, or specifically an F1 like Edna, when you're driving, the rearview mirror vibrates, like really bad. So, like to the point it's almost worthless. Like once you get up to good speeds, it starts jumping all over the place. So I jumped on the F1 Facebook page that I like using. I made a post about it to see what anybody was doing. I fixed theirs. There's a section right here behind this panel that's just open. And then the mirror vibrates really bad. So I was wondering if there's something you could put behind there. When I first put the headliner in, I feel like I remembered maybe there being some kind of insulation in there. But now that it's been a year since that came out, I don't actually remember anymore. So I was looking at something to put in there. I had considered doing spray foam at one point, like you use in the house, the expanding foam. But I thought that seemed a little permanent, especially considering that I have that dent that I still got to fix in the roof. Not going to be able to get that fixed before the car show, unfortunately, so the headliner is going to go back in anyway because I don't want it to be out for the show. But one of the suggestions that I got on that page was cutting up a pool noodle and sticking it behind there just because it's, a high-density foam. So I managed to commandeer a couple of those from a pool party, or from a birthday party last weekend. So those are going to be tucked in behind there now, and we'll see how that does. Right now, we're actually on our way to O'Reilly Auto Parts. I'm going to get a section for the wiring that I'm going to put in. There was one little piece, if you guys remember from that video, where the... Thanks, man. There was an extra, but when we were redoing the wiring, there was a section under the hood where that little block came apart, and we had to put those wires on. You guys may remember seeing that, and I was going to try to find a new thing to put on there, but I actually realized it would probably be best to maybe get a plug for that, which would be better than what it had before. So we're going to go check out O'Reilly's and see what they have as far as options. Hopefully we can clean that up a little more without spending a bunch of money. On a side note, one of our subscribers saw that we've been having problems with our microphones in the last couple of videos, and they were kind enough to buy us a new set and send them to us. So we'd like to give a shout out to Mary and her kids for getting us new microphones. We really appreciate that, and we're using them right now. I don't know how well you can see this in the video, but you can see the mirror vibrating. Sometimes it looks like when you get up around 50, 60 miles an hour, you can see there's this looks like there's 3 cars behind you and there's only one. So hopefully that's going to make a big difference. O'Reilly! This is what I'm talking about right here. So we just got to clean that up a little bit. So we're going to see if we can just get a nice little plug in there, and that'll make that a little cleaner looking. I kind of like this little 3-wire setup here, but it doesn't come with both ends.
So it costs twice as much as using the 4-wire setup. Yeah, I think this is going to work good right there. Not bad for $8. I'll just tidy up the rest of this so it looks good. Something I was also thinking about doing was maybe taking just this one piece off, cleaning it up, repainting it, putting nice new screws in there. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. If you guys don't mind doing us a favor, if you're liking this video so far, go ahead and hit that like button. I found out that it really helps as far as getting the channel out there, getting it on people's suggested feeds. We get a decent amount of views, but not necessarily a decent amount of likes. So it'd be great if you guys could hit that like button for us. And if you like the channel well enough, and this is your first time viewing us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any episodes. So it turns out there actually is some insulation up in here, or a rat's nest one. But it doesn't feel like it's going to come out easily. We'll just tuck that back up in there. Pretend we didn't see it. Alright, so we got our noodles. And we're going to put them in behind the panel here. So I guess I'll cut it here. And then I think I got to cut it in half. Just kind of roll this. I'm going to put the visors down. Just kind of roll this puppy in there. A little harder to get in than I thought it was going to be. Pretty tight on the corners. Very tiring on the hands. I guess it's a good thing I didn't cut it completely in half because it seems like it rolled back up when I got in there. All right, I guess we'll throw another one in there. Never sit on your knife. Go ahead and close that this time. I feel like I could maybe put one more piece in there. My hands are getting so tired. All right, so something I forgot to do when I put the headliner in the first time was there's a center screw that goes right here. I also found out this is not where your dome light goes. Apparently that's a mistake people make. But the dome light actually goes back here and mounts to this hole. But this is only to secure the center of the headliner to keep it from drooping, which I never did, so mine always drooped a little bit. But what you're supposed to do is before you put it in, you're supposed to mark the center here. Which I did when I took it out, and I put a mark on the headliner too, just so I could, know how far it went this way. And then you got to measure from here to this hole right here, so that you know how far over the hole needs to be and how far from the front the hole needs to be. That way you don't end up like drilling it off over here and then end up with 10 holes in the middle of your headliner. So we're going to see if we can't get those numbers real quick and work that out. So I guess we'll go to the back lip of this. And that is 15.25. My pencil go. 15.25. We'll double check that real quick. Measure twice. Drill once, I guess. 15.25. Now we'll go from here. Occurred to me that if that's not lined up perfectly, we might not see that. So I'm gonna put a pencil mark right there that I'll forget to erase later. Oh man, I forgot to erase that. So from that hole to the center, $24.50. Double check that one too. $24.50. Now don't quote me on these measurements, because if you're in a situation where you're putting your headliner in, it's not guaranteed that this is going to be in the same spot. So these are my measurements, or I should say Edna's. All right, let's get the headliner. I guess we're getting to this just in time because it's just starting to sprinkle out here. This thing's been sitting under Chance's bed for the last year. What's under your bed? All right, see if I can remember how this goes in. Already caught on the mirror, I think. There we go. I remember this being a struggle the first time it went in. Dog hair on it. Oh man, I wrinkled it. Be careful not to wrinkle your headliner. They don't come back out. I do have to put the front end first. I can't even get up high enough to see the blue tape. My holes are lined up though. Oh, let's get my finger. All right, I got it positioned with some finagling. It's different than it was before. I'm gonna have to re-drill these holes along here, but it actually fits better because it always had a terrible fit. Across here, but this is actually the best it's ever looked. So we're gonna re-drill it and we're gonna go with that. We're gonna take our measurements. We're gonna figure out where that hole is. So we had 15.25 back. From there. So we'll mark it. And then we had 24.5 from the side. Good thing I put that pencil mark on there because it's slightly off from the hole now. Oh man, I forgot to erase that. So 24.5 there. X marks the spot. It feels like I'm touching something, so I must be close. All right, let's see what we can do. Oh my God, I found it. I have a feeling that there might need to be like a bigger washer. I feel like after driving around a little bit, that thing is going to cut into that a little bit, so we might have to reconsider that. We'll see how it does. I mean, the worst case scenario, if it cuts out, we just get a bigger washer. I guess this means I can stop looking at this blue tape Now, I ended up with a little bit of a gap here and a little bit of a gap here. But since the gap here is so much better, I can live with that. I don't remember how many videos I mentioned that I was going to put the headliner back in, but it was a lot. So it's in. It's not all the way in, but I'm going to put the screws back in. So, but it's there. All right, so we got our new connector. Nice and watertight. That is never going to fit through those holes if we ever have to take that apart. So we're just going to put this together with some simple butt connectors, my pliers. All right, so first we got our 2 wires that go to our dimmer switch. So we're going to keep the black to there and the red to that. We'll use our male end here. Get ourselves some shrink wrap. All right, we'll make this yellow to red and black to black. All right, now we'll slip our shrink wrap over that. It's technical. Out of fluid. All right, now we're going to break out our tape, cloth electrical tape we got, and try to group some of this together so it looks a little nicer. We're going to leave this extra power wire out, just in case we ever come up with a reason to need it. All we got left is just plug that in. That looks a little better than this dangly setup. I'd probably keep this for a few years, let it marinate before I throw it away. All right, that pretty much completes the wiring job. So that's all nicely buttoned up. Now, the only thing I have left to do, headliner, is I'm going to have to re-drill those holes. There, there, and there, because they're slightly off from where they were. This looks much better than it ever fit before. Still not real happy with it, but it's a big improvement. I'm going to drill those holes and put those screws back in off camera. It's nice having the headliner back in. It looks a little more solid. One thing I do have to do, it's starting to rain on me, before the car show, is these have never been screwed down because you have to do it with the seat out, because you can't get a drill in here to drill the hole, a screwdriver with the seat sitting right there. So we're going to get that in. I'm going to take the bench out this week. I've got to put the carpet back in from when we were doing the rewiring. Some of the snaps on it broke. Plus, it just looks terrible. So I think I might wash it while it's out of the truck. Most of the rest of this is just going to be getting things cleaned up for the car show. I'll do that throughout the week. So don't forget, if you're not already planning to be at that car show and you happen to be in Spartanburg, South Carolina on June 3rd. That's when the car show is. I would love for you guys to come out and meet some of you guys. It's going to be a good show either way. The last I checked, they had over 80 cars registered, so it should be a pretty good show. Hopefully, Edna can do well against some of the cars she'll be competing against. So we'll be happy to see you next week. Thanks for watching Adventures with Edna.